Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sherry Jones, and I have the wonderful privilege today to interview my great nephew, my oldest great nephew, and ask him some questions about Generation Y or Z. Uh, could you state your first and last name and how old you are?
Yes, my name is Jaden Colbert, and I'm 25 years old.
Okay, Jaden, I have a couple questions for you today.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's talk about your family. How did you grow up as a child? Give me some examples of it, what you grew up as a child.
I grew up around a very loving family, very caring family, you know what I'm saying? Never hesitated to tell each other we love each other. I grew up in the church, you know what I'm saying? Both sides of my family are very religious. Just grew up around good vibes, you know what I'm saying? Just genuine love. A lot of people don't get to experience that.
And that is so true. So tell me a little bit about your age group and how y'all feel about music.
My age group, and when it comes to music, I feel like a lot of us want to hear music that's going, you know what I'm saying, get us hyped, make us feel good, you know what I'm saying. Some of us, we do like that old R&B, you know what I'm saying, like the older generations and stuff, but for the most part, you know what I'm saying, we like music that's going to have us turned up, you know what I'm saying, ready to dance. Some people let that music get to their head, though.
Okay. Okay, so why do they let it get to their head? Is it the lyrics or they going through a certain situation? Why you say it gets to their head?
I think it's the lyrics. A lot of times, because music is very, very powerful, you know what I'm saying, to the mind and to the soul. Music has the ability to change your mood, you know what I'm saying, change your way of thinking and stuff like that. And I think some people just don't have a strong mind, you know what I'm saying, and so some of the lyrics they hear, it can either be stuff that they've been through before, which can be triggering, or it could just be stuff that puts them in a mindset that they don't need to be in.
All right, that is true.
Especially with a lot of the music nowadays being, you know what I'm saying, so surrounded by negative things.
Okay. So, Jaden, when's your birthday?
December 12th, 1996.
So you're a 1996 baby. All
Yes,
right,
ma'am.
good. Tell me about your insight about church and how you relate to God.
My insight about church, I honestly feel like ever since I've been going to church since I was born to now, with it being instilled in me, is something I don't think I could live without. You know what I'm saying? I love the whole church experience, from going to church and hearing the word of God, you know what I'm saying, hearing the pastors talk about stuff that relates directly to you, even when it's a pastor that don't even know you by your first name, you know what I'm saying? It's just certain things that you can come in, and it's crazy how that stuff can get to you.
And that's just true. So, with your, I don't want to say, we used to always say cliques back in the day, but with your generation and the people that's in your circle, I want to say, how do they see God and how do they feel about God? Do they make Him a priority in their life, or do they make something else a priority in their life? How does your generation feel about church and about God and praising Him?
Keep it all the way honest with you, I have very few friends that, you know what I'm saying, are very religious like me, you know what I'm saying, that put God first and keep Him in everything they do, you know what I'm saying, constantly pray and tell them they love Him. And then I got a lot of friends that will not show up in church. Like they won't do that. And I don't know why, it's just a lot of people, I think it's probably because they don't want to hear nothing about themselves, you know what I'm saying, they don't want to hear somebody talking about a lot of the stuff that they're doing, because, you know what I'm saying, in church, they speak a lot about wrongdoings and stuff like that. And so when people not living right, that's the last place they want to be, is church.
That's a good answer, Jay. That's a good answer. So, one of the things that we discussed in class with Professor Irvin in Intergenerational Ministries was the time that is spent on social media. The average person spends about 9 hours a day on social media. So can you tell me why social media, especially Instagram, not so much your generation for Facebook, but Twitter and TikTok, why is this such a grand thing to be on social media that long?
Me personally, I think it's because it's borderline addicting. You know what I'm saying? Seeing stuff like, especially when it comes to Twitter, I like getting on Twitter because me personally, when I get on Twitter, it's basically I see a lot of people thinking exactly what I'm thinking about a specific situation. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, for example, that Chris Rock and Will Smith situation. You know what I'm saying? When Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people on there was talking about how they couldn't believe Will stood up for Jada regarding all the situations they had been through. And I was thinking the same thing. So it's like, it's crazy to see a lot of people thinking the same things you are. And then a lot of that, I also feel like the internet, that's the way it makes its money, you know what I'm saying? And that's the way that the internet thrives, is because their goal is to keep you on those apps. You know what I'm saying? On Twitter, Facebook, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, all of that stuff, they want to keep you on that app. So I feel like it brings up ads and videos or tweets pertaining to what they see you search a lot. So I feel like that's the whole point of it, is to keep you on there. And I feel like some people just fall victim to that trap. It's a lot of times I have to catch myself when I'm on social media, and I have to force myself to put my phone down, because I know if I don't, I'll be on it for an hour or two. That quick, especially TikTok.
Okay. So, do you feel like social media is a hindrance for your generation?
Yes, I feel like social media ruined everything, if you ask me.
It did?
Yeah, I feel like it ruined people's social skills, being able to come up and talk to people in person, maintaining eye contact, making friends. You know what I'm saying? Men trying to talk to women, women trying to talk to men. Social media changed everything.
Wow. Because, I mean, it is addictive. You said borderline. It actually is addictive. But the thing about it is, we're trying to get the generation. The Word of God always tells us that each generation is smarter, but not wiser.
Mm-hmm.
So with you all's generation that I've encountered, not technically with you, but with some around your age, they are disrespectful. They talk crazy to their parents, grandparents. I see on the news where they done killed grandparents for money, trying to get drugs. So do you have any suggestions or any solutions on how the older people like us can reach your generation? Because what I see is a lot of them are lacking love. I never try to judge a person off the first impression, because you never know what a person's been through.
That's true.
And your generation seems so depressed at this young age. And y'all got your life to live. I mean, in my 20s, I wasn't depressed. So do you have any suggestion on how the church or either us older people can reach your generation? Because I deal with it with training in class, and I have to tell them to put their cell phones up, and I take their cell phones. I have to tell them, you know, they go on their breaks, they stay too long. It's like you all have no respect or regard of any authority or any situation. So what do you think we can do to help you all get focused and get y'all on the track of where y'all understand who God is? Any suggestions?
I think.
Just think about that for a minute. I mean, you have friends that might be disrespectful to their parents and grandparents, and it's like, isn't that a shock for you because you're not like that?
Yeah, it's definitely a shock, especially when I talk to them, you know what I'm saying, about situations that I went through, you know what I'm saying, with my elders, or if I tell them about the time my elder made me mad and stuff like that, and they try to give me a way of thinking, and I'll be, you know what I'm saying, me being raised the way I was, like, I'd be like, I would never say that, you know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
true.
I would never say that, or I would never think that way, you know what I'm saying, and I don't think it even comes from fear of, you know what I'm saying, adults and stuff like that. I think it's just probably that respect thing. I think a lot of it has to do with the way people were raised up, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the kids that don't have respect now, I feel like they were like that as kids, you know what I'm saying? Some of their parents said they talk back, you know what I'm saying? They tell me they've always been that way, because I ask people all the time, different people I come in contact with, because I like to get to know why people are how they are.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like as far as things that the older generation can do to fix that, I
don't know, huh?
I don't know, because at the end of the day, it's just like a parent to a kid, you know what I'm saying? You can only, attempt to control them for so long before you realize that it's out of your control. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of things that made me the way I am and how I treat people better than, you know what I'm saying, times I've treated them before is sometimes you have to go through stuff to realize, you know what I'm saying, what the outcome is going to be.
Okay, that's
You
true.
know what I'm saying? Like, it gotta take that time to where you gotta take self-accountability to what you're doing.
Mhm.
And that's the only way you're going to be able to change.
Because there's no way the younger generation can continue to do like this. That's why they're leaving here. Do you remember your first Bible verse you was taught when you was little?
My first Bible verse, I don't know about my very first Bible verse, but I know a Bible verse that stuck with me. Like
Okay. Which one stuck with you?
Probably John 3:16.
John 3:16?
Yes.
Okay, what is that?
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, so that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life.
All right, good. Do you remember us teaching you about honor your mother and father?
Yeah, Ephesians 6:1.
Okay, what did that say?
It said, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, for this is the first commandment of promise.
Yeah.
And so that your days shall be long.
So your days will be long. See how that coincides with y'all generation?
Mm-hmm.
How they cutting themselves short. Because
I truly believe. That's why I said. I
That's
don't
the
see how
word.
people can't believe in that type of stuff. And that's why I said I think that's why a lot of people don't want to go to church, because they don't want to hear it, because it's gonna make sense to them. You know
It's
what I'm
not.
saying? It's gonna trigger them, because a lot of the people that I do feel like in our generation and nowadays, I feel like my generation and the younger generation are dying a lot sooner than the older generation.
they are.
And a lot of that comes from that, you know what I'm saying, disrespect.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And wanting to be tough. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff is playing a role into that.
So a lot of peer pressures in y'all's group that I noticed.
Yes, ma'am.
I had a girl that was in class last week, and she came in late for training, and one day she dropped a cigarette, so I took the cigarettes. She went out on break. She couldn't find them. She come back in crying. She didn't know I had them. She was on the cell phone. She stayed in trouble for that. And I noticed that something was wrong. Something was out of sequence. It's like, I'm just here. You know, no enthusiasm. She would participate in class, and then she would shut completely down. So when I pulled her to the side, I said, let me ask you something. Are you going through something and you need to talk about? And she started crying. She basically, her boyfriend, her friend are homeless, and they're living in a hotel. And they were depending on her money to have paid every week at the extended stay hotel. I knew something was wrong. But in the process, if somebody's hired you, there's an etiquette that you're supposed to have while you're in class. And the stigma with you all, with the younger generation, I noticed these jobs are going home. They're going to be working from home.
Mm-hmm.
And so they think they can do anything in class like they did at home. Like yesterday I was talking to her, and she just smoked and puffed and all on the screen. I said, what are you doing? I'm sorry, Miss Sherry. I said, you don't do that when I'm on Zoom call with you. That's disrespectful.
Yeah, that's what I would think. You know what I'm saying? I would think some people would just know better. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
But-
Like, that would be common sense, but it's like they say common sense.
But
ain't so
she
common.
doesn't know better.
Mhm.
So it's my responsibility as an older person to correct her. Now, I didn't holler at her, I didn't scream at her, but it's my responsibility to correct her. So that's what I did. So what do you feel about happening, everything that went on with the pandemic? With people, you had COVID yourself, so how do you feel about the young people, about the pandemic?
You saying like how it affected them?
Yeah, how it affects you?
How it affected me, I feel like, personally, I feel like everything changed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't hang out as much as I used to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've become, I ain't gonna say super closed off, but sometimes now it seems like I prefer alone time more than I prefer to be around a group of people.
So it
And I
made
used to
people
never
be
like
loners.
that. Yes.
Yeah, so you're introvert.
Mhm.
But as a child, I remember you were extrovert.
Definitely.
Yeah. So it kind of shut down because your generation is committing suicide a lot. And that's scary, you
Yes.
know?
I feel like a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying, and a lot of problems with our generation has become coping mechanisms, you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as, like, back when you was talking about the disrespect and stuff like that. It's been so many times, me for an example, it's been times where I've, you know what I'm saying, because like I told you, I was raised around genuineness, you know what I'm saying, and that sweet love, you know what I'm saying, people talking to me sweet and stuff like that, and you get out here in the real world, and everybody's not like that, you know what I'm saying. There's some people out here who will finesse you out of your genuine heart, you know what I'm saying. They will suck all the life out of you, all the love out of you, which kind of brings back to when you was talking about old girl seeming like she was numb, she just completely shut down. Like sometimes you just be drained, you know what I'm saying. Like some people, like that's what they do, you know what I'm saying. They, like for example, somebody who didn't grow up around love versus somebody who did grow up around love, if they come in handy, that person who didn't grow up around love, they might leave that situation feeling high and mighty, you know what I'm saying, as where the person who did grow up around love might leave the situation feeling like it's harm, because they done went through so much trying to love that person that didn't grow up around love, and that person that didn't don't really know how to appreciate, you know what I'm saying. So they might self-sabotage that relationship, or you know what I'm saying, they might treat you a certain way because of how they used to being treated. You like thinking they treat you terrible because of what you used to, and they might just think they treat you with tough love. You know what I'm saying? It's what people are used to. You know what I'm saying? Like if I grew up around everybody being in church and stuff like that, it's where they didn't. So if I take them to church, be here. You know what I'm saying? I come on some gospel music. They don't want to hear that.
They don't understand.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? But and I feel like also nowadays generation, I feel like it's making it cool to be gangster. You know what I'm saying? Or making it cool to be disrespectful. Making it cool to be everything wrong.
And that is so true. That is so true.
And there's a lot of pressure on people.
It is, and so the churches, we have to get back to the old school, and we have to reach kids young as your brother Da Vinci.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I start talking to him about Jesus being in his heart, you know, because if you don't, one thing about it, you can have strayed. The prodigal son, you know, he strayed, but he came back. And all of us have strayed, you know, but you still have that reassurance to know that God is still there for you, and you can always come back and depend on him when you can't depend on nobody else.
And I feel like a lot of that with me, and that's why I said, like, and that's why a lot of people need to go to church even if they're not listening, because even hearing that, you know what I'm saying, even if you're not paying attention for real, just the fact that you're hearing it in that background, it's going to get in your subconscious. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like all the times I was in church as a kid, even though I wasn't paying attention, you know what I'm saying, especially with me being a drummer, there's a lot of times when I was younger, I used to go to church just to play the drums or hear the music, you know what I'm saying. It wasn't really until recently, probably in back the end of 2020, you know what I'm saying, when the passing of, you know what I'm saying, my uncle and my grandmother, you know what I'm saying, that was a tragic event that happened to me, so it kind of put me closer to the Lord, you know what I'm saying. And then all of the songs that I heard when I was a kid, because you know what I'm saying, I've been playing drums since I was a little kid. So when I would be in church playing these songs, I was just playing them. I like the sound of them, you know what I'm saying? Wasn't really paying attention to what they were saying. I knew, but I wasn't paying attention to them until I started going through stuff in life, like I told you. So after those situations, I went back and listened to a lot of the songs we used to sing, and they was powerful. You know
they hit home.
Yeah, and they get into you know what I'm saying? Like I said, your subconscious, you know what I'm saying? So, for example, there's a gospel song called Trouble Don't Last Always. So anytime I find myself in a troubled situation, you know what I'm saying, or feeling like nothing's going right, that might pop in my head. I'm like,
and that's one of my favorite songs, because your daddy used to sing it.
Yes, ma'am.
That's one of my favorite songs that I go to, too. I have songs like Let Go and Let God. You know, it really resonates with your heart and your spirit. You know, but I see that the devil comes in and try to destroy and mess with you all young people, and the first thing he does, he attacks your mind.
I was getting ready to say, you see how when you listen to those gospel songs, they make you feel good, you know what I'm saying, make you feel at peace. That's the power of that music. So take the rap music, you know what I'm saying, and people listening to this from sun up to sundown, you know what I'm saying, they talking about killing, robbing, you know what I'm saying, all this wrong stuff, backdoor, you know what I'm saying, which means crossing somebody close to you, you know what I'm saying, to get some. That's what they preach about in these songs now, you know what I'm saying. Like I talk to my uncle about this all the time. When I go listen to songs from back in the day, they actually taught you stuff.
They did.
You know
they were from stories, from circumstances that happened.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They would teach you stuff, you know what I'm saying, as far as police messing with black people, you know what I'm saying, or different things. Like, they taught you real life situations. As where nowadays, they just teaching you stuff that is all wrong, you know what I'm saying? Popping these drugs, you know what I'm saying? Just doing everything wrong. And the thing about it that makes it even worse is a lot of the rappers that's preaching that not living like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they be millionaires talking about posting in the jacks, selling drugs and stuff like that. Like you mean tell me you about to go post in the projects and sell these drugs and go kill somebody? No, you sitting on $10 million in a mansion in Beverly Hills. You know what I'm saying? They not living like that, but that's what they putting out in their music for us to live like that.
Because y'all buy it, y'all listen to it.
And you know what I'm saying? That's why I said it plays into that strong mind, because there's been times where I've heard some music and I'm like, well, I wish somebody would fight me to this song. You know what I'm saying? Like it gets you in that mode. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta distinct that. You know what I'm saying, from real life, because that stuff will stray you away from. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said back to talking about social media. A lot of people are trying to portray an image. You know what I'm saying? They care more so nowadays about the image than the reality. So everybody's trying to be gangster and stuff like that, and a lot of times that's not who they really are. So they fighting all kinds of battles and demons in their head, you know what I'm saying?
And it is demons.
They, you know what I'm saying, unlocking their phone trying to be this person, and then they gotta go to the bathroom and look in the mirror like, I'm not even like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
true.
the longer that they keep that cycle going, it's gonna eat them up. It's gonna eat them up, eat them up, eat them up, eat them up, and to the point to, like you said, suicide sometimes, because they fighting that battle. They not being who they really are. They not living to their true self. And that's why I feel like life was a lot better before social media, because even though social media really came around in my generation, I still got a little glimpse of what life was like before social media.
Exactly.
And before social media, you wasn't in everybody's business.
That's
You know what I'm
true.
saying? You wasn't worried about what everybody's doing. You could buy you a little necklace from the gas station, you know what I'm saying? You like, I'm clean. And nowadays, you know what I'm saying, you buy that necklace, you like, I like this, and then you hop on social media and see somebody with a bust down Cuban, you like, I don't even want this no more. You know what I'm saying? Like now you depressed because you just seen what the other person had on. When in real life, you're not even supposed to know about them. You know what I'm saying? You looking at somebody in Cali. You know what I'm saying? Our minimum wage here might be like $8 or $9. You know what I'm saying? In Cali, their minimum wage might be $15.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Their cost of living is different, so they're making a different amount of money. You know what I'm saying? It's where if we live in here, we ain't supposed to be worried about what they doing, because they not. That's a whole different tax bracket. And you trying to compare your life to them and go live like them and take these risks, sell these drugs, or rob these people so you can get what they got, and the whole time it's not your time.
All right, and that's true. That's true. I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me about these issues. We got to do better at the church to try to reach you all, and it starts at a young age.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
really does, because in the end, after all of whatever your generation does or what they do, in the end, you need to know who God is.
Yes,
And you
ma'am.
need to really know, because he'll be there when everybody else is not there.
That's
But
true.
if you would, just your generation, try to get them to talk about God and spread the word, because as a Christian, we have that responsibility of bringing somebody, a lost soul, to Christ.
Yes, ma'am.
And I remember a pastor of ours, he knew we were young, and he would say, when y'all go to the clubs, talk about Jesus, invite them to your church. And I thought that was so weird, but that's where people be. Why not? Say, hey, I go to church here, won't you come visit me on Sunday? And just try to change the mindset. I'm thankful that you are not one of those that are disrespectful.
Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate that. I've always gotten compliments about you being respectful and knowing how to open car doors for people, but you were taught at a young age, and I appreciate that, and I pray that you stay that way, because a person will go a long way with you when they see you trying, when they see you respectful, when they see you trying to do your best. But when they see that you don't care and you being disrespectful and you don't know how to act, people will leave you alone. And really, y'all generation is going to need the older people. Y'all going to need their help. You're going to need their love, because the younger you all get, y'all don't express what love is. Love to you all is sex half the time. But that's not what it is. The word says God is love. So love is sharing and caring, and Jesus showed compassion, showing compassion to people.
Can I chime in on what you just said?
Yes.
I don't really think that a lot of my generation, I don't think love to them is sex. I think that's the only way some people show intimacy. You know what I'm saying? Like some people, I feel like their personalities are just known. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like dating a brick wall. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, cold heart. They don't have no feelings. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the holiest person, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. 'Cause
Right.
some of the stuff that I have been through have caused me to be like that to certain people, you know what I'm saying? When you go through certain pain, certain people changing up on you, and certain people switching up on you, taking your kindness for weakness and all that type of stuff, you get to that point to where you can detach yourself from the situation.
And if it's toxic,
And-
you should.
Yeah, and but that's not good though all the time, because sometimes you detaching yourself before you even giving that person a chance.
That's true.
Because like I said, you develop that as a coping mechanism.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And
So-
everybody can give you benefit of the doubt.
Mhm.
And then somebody, I mean, I've had friends I had to let go because I couldn't trust them
Mhm.
anymore. And it might hurt, but I had to clean my closet out.
You gotta do what you gotta do to protect your peace.
I had to protect my peace and my heart,
Yes, ma'am.
you know, because that's what Jesus looks at. He looks at the heart.
Mhm.
So is there anything you would like to say to the younger generation, just on video, just to let them know, you know, how y'all can make a change, how y'all can make a difference, and just some suggestions how y'all can be a better generation? Because y'all are dying like, flying like flies. Just, I mean, it's scary to see all these people, even the stars, children committing suicide, and it's never been that. And the Lord's gonna be coming soon,
Mhm.
okay? And what He's not gonna do, He's not gonna take the people that don't acknowledge and know who He is. He's a sovereign God, but also He gives us, I don't want to say rules, but instructions in the Word of God on how we can, help each other and love each other and be there for each other. He knows we're not going to be perfect. That's why He died for our sins. All of us sin.
Yes, ma'am.
But the younger generation has got to do better with the respect and the love. And I don't know what to do to reach them. I try. They attract to me for some reason. I don't know why, but they do. Even at work, I've always had the ones that had the problems that come up to me. They tell me their personal stuff, and they're not even supposed to as a trainer. But I feel there's a need there. And what I'm going to do is try to listen. I notice y'all generation, y'all are quickly to go off quick. And what I do, and maybe that's why I listen. Because it's something in listening and something they saying will let me know that something's going on.
You listen to understand, and a lot of people listen to respond.
Right. Because I could just sit there and just listen for 30 minutes.
Mhm.
And then I'll decide if something's going on. So thank you for the interview. I appreciate it. I love you. You've always been a great nephew. I want you to continue to be there. Continue to depend on God and let God lead you and not social media or your peers. Be you. Be authentic. And know that God is always watching and that He's going to be proud of you for what you do for the kingdom.
Yes.
Not for your friends, not for the streets, not for nobody else, but what you do for the kingdom will last. So thank you for the interview, Jaden. I appreciate it. And have a good day. And I love you.
Love you soon.
Okay, bye. See y'all later.